Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here for One Piece, episodes 1048 to 1050. And with this, we are once again caught up to One Piece. It's been quite a few months since we took our break, and for some reason, I was worried going into coming back to this that there would be more. Somehow, I thought there would be more than there actually were. But it's like thinking about it logically, it's like no, like 4 months, like not even a whole 4 months. It's like yeah, there actually wouldn't be as much as you would think. It's like one episode a week. If it were two episodes a week, that would be one thing. But one episode a week for 4 months is actually not as many episodes as you would think to catch up on. So, and also considering where I had to catch up to before with doing all the multi-episode videos, it's like this is nothing. But yeah, so 3 episodes this time because that's all that's left. I am very excited to get back to more of this and to be caught up so we can watch weekly again. Um, and yeah, I think I said it last time, but we're kind of in the home stretch of Wano. I think, um, like we're entering kind of like the final stage of things. I don't know how long that final stage is going to last, but considering how long this has lasted already, who knows? We could be in for another 20 episodes or so. And honestly, as long as it's still done well, I don't mind. But the fact that the Toby Ropo are all defeated now is like, that's a big sign that we're kind of gearing into the last of it. Because now that we just got to focus on taking out the headliners, King, Queen, Jack, all of that. Got to focus on taking out Kaido himself, of course. Luffy has to get back up there with Momo. Yeah, it's just there's a lot less going on than there used to be. That doesn't mean we won't still like skip around and see what everyone else is doing, but there's going to be less to focus on, less to worry about with that. It's going to start converging a little more. Also, Big Mom has to be taken out too, still. But it's like, yeah, you get the idea. And I'm excited to see how this closes out. Um, Especially once we get to the next arc, which has already started in the manga and been going for a little bit now. Um, so yeah, it's just like Wano has been. I've talked about it plenty. Wano has been my favorite arc in the series, without question. It's just so damn good. Like even if you didn't have the two trans characters who I adore beyond reason, even if you didn't have Kiku and Yamato, it's like this arc would still be my favorite because the storytelling, the pacing of it, everything is phenomenal. I love the fact that it's sorted into 3 different acts, each one with its own specific focus. I like the backstory section that we had on Odin and Roger and Whitebeard. I've loved this entire raid, pretty much. All the depth we get with characters like Tama and Yasui. And of course, you do have to include the Akazaya 9 and Yamato in there as well. But it's like everything is just so damn good. Like this is peak One Piece in terms of writing, in terms of storytelling, in terms of character work. Like this is what I want One Piece to be. Not necessarily the specifics, but in terms of the overall quality. And of course, that overall quality is subjective, mind you. So it's fine if you don't like it as much as I do, but I really love it. Like it is just exceptional to me. I recently even like redid like a tier maker list on my on all the arcs from the series, and it's like I could not for the life of me even think about putting anything above Wano. There's other amazing arcs in this series, like Whole Cake Island and Arlong Park and stuff. Zoe as well. But none of them are anywhere near the quality of Wano to me. It's like it's not even close. Like if Wano were a 10 out of 10, the next arc up could only be a 7. That's how much of a difference there is. I'm not saying that is the case, obviously. Um, I'm not going to be that ridiculous, but I'm just saying there, just as an example to express how much better I think Wano is than everything else. That would be how I would express that. And yeah, now we just have to see where these final battles go and how long they take, and hopefully Zoro is able to stay standing and stay fighting long enough to take out King while Sanji worries about Queen, and of course Jack is being fought by Dogstorm currently. So hopefully Zoro is able to stay standing long enough for that. Yamato is currently fighting his father, and again, Luffy is going to be headed up with Momo to rejoin the fight. It's going to be awesome. The other Straw Hats I don't think are going to do much right now. Kid and Killer is facing Hawkins. Kid and Law are taking on Big Mom. I don't think that the rest of the Straw Hats. I think their fights are done. They're not really going to join any new fights. They're probably going to maybe fight off a couple small fries, but that's about it. But we're mostly done with Jinbei's fight, with Robin's fight, Frankie's, all of them. They had their time to shine, and they shined great. But now we're going to focus on the bigger fights for sure. And that's fine. Now, my biggest question is, what are CP Aegis Zero going to do? Because they're just there. They're just there. They're watching, well, not really watching, but paying attention to what's going on and plotting something fierce. You know they are. These bitches are always plotting. I don't know what they're plotting, but it can't be good. Because, it's the fucking world government. The world government in this series are practically fascists. Like, they're kind of the worst. Like, honestly, I would say that the world government overall, like, in terms of overall influence and whatnot, are worse than the likes of Kaido and the Beast Pirates. And that's not to diminish Kaido and the Beast Pirates or any of these villains that we see, even like Blackbeard, for example. It's not to diminish their threat or their intimidation or power or whatnot, but the world government is kind of behind everything. Let's be honest, they are the biggest threat in this series. They are the ones who are going to completely shape how this final saga goes. You know it's true. And I'm very curious to see exactly what that entails. Because, mind you, they're a fantastic villain force. They really are. I'm just saying, they are evil. They are very fucking evil. And they are definitely going to be a bigger threat than probably anything we faced before. But like I said, I'm very excited to find out what we go into with that, what we go into when we get to Shanks and I guess Buggy as well. And Blackbeard and everything else. Because there's so much just behind the scenes right now. Like, there's so much that's just being worked up to. Mihawk is being worked up to, because, that's still, Zoro's dream. Even though he trained with him, it's like he still wants to surpass him, which means they've got to have a real fight. We've got to go to Elbaf. we've got to deal with a lot. The admirals, specifically that one new admiral who we kind of only saw in the shadows, um, and yada yada yada, so on and so forth. There's a lot of shit to discuss and to go into. So, like I said, I don't know exactly how many episodes we've got left. I guess maybe around 20 in this arc. But hopefully, no matter what the case, this ends up being an amazing finale to Wano. That's just already been amazing. So, let's get this going and hope for the best. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episodes. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, yeah, this is definitely the beginning of the final fight. We have Luffy, Yamato, and Momo all teaming up against Kaido. And we know in the end it's gonna come down to Luffy versus Kaido specifically. Luffy's definitely getting the final blow. But Yamato and Momo are very much going to be integral to this final fight. Momo finding his courage, not in the absence of fear, because that's not what courage is, but in doing the right thing despite that. Acting despite the fact that he is afraid. He still goes in to bite Kaido. He still acts. And that's what Wano needs from their shogun. Someone who will act. Who will do the right thing. Even if they're sometimes afraid to. And so, yeah. It's great to see our little boy growing up. Yamato, his fight continuing with Kaido was great. Though Kaido did get the upper hand in the end. Yamato got a few really, really good hits in. But Kaido, of course, is going to be stronger still. So he does manage to overpower his son, and when he starts like just beating down on him like repeatedly like that, it's like that bothered me. Maybe it's partially because of how much I love Yamato, being my second favorite character in the entire series after Robin, and a strong contender to overcome Robin and become my new favorite. Maybe it's partially because of that, but it's also, I don't like seeing that kind of shit. Like, I've talked about it before, with the entire thing about, larger characters, like, manhandling smaller ones. But it's also just, like, that level of a beatdown freaks me out a little. If I'm being completely honest. It's, like, not as much as the manhandling thing, and not as much as, like, other things freak me out. But it does bother me to see a character just being so mercilessly beat down like that. It's especially when it's basically domestic abuse. Like, this is literally a father beating the shit out of his son. Mind you, like, the son is trying to beat the shit out of him too. But it's like, there's a certain level to where it's like, that gets to be very upsetting. You know what I mean? Like, it's not as, like, context obviously can make a son trying to attack and beat up his father as being extremely upsetting too, of course. I've heard stories of kids who have, like, violently and mercilessly attacked their parents for no reason, really. Like, actually, like, violently attacked them. And from what the stories say and everything, the parents were pretty nice and good people, and it's like, the kids were just pieces of shit. That kind of shit does happen. But often when you hear about like this kind of stuff, like abuse between the sides of a parent and a child, it is usually, when you hear about that, the parent abusing and beating the child. Usually, not again, not always. There are exceptions to that, but it's just, you hear about this a lot, and child abuse and everything is something that is extremely bothersome to me. So it's like, even though Yamato's an adult, it's still bothersome. It's still it like really gets to me, and it's just like, it makes it uncomfortable. Now, obviously, when they're just fighting, I can deal with it. It's okay. But when, like, again, when Kaido is just beating Yamato down like that repeatedly and that viciously, it's just like, it just gets to a point where it's like, just, he's already down. Stop. It's uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Um, but we also saw some flashbacks here with Yamato. Um, Yamato, when he was just a baby and had first witnessed the execution of Odin and everything, we see basically right after he had come out, to the point where people haven't even acclimated to using his proper pronouns and everything yet. They're still using she, her pronouns and calling him Oni princess and stuff, because it's new at that point, and honestly, they're bad guys anyway, so. But we see in the future, like, they've all acclimated to that. Everyone calls him a guy now. Everyone calls him by he, him pronouns. It's like, yeah, current day, it's normalized. But at that time, it wasn't quite a thing yet, because he had just come out. It had just happened. And we see that during this, he's standing up to his father and everything, but ends up getting punished for it. He wants to be Odin. He wants to carry on that legacy, and it's causing trouble. So he ends up getting chained and locked away by his father in this cave with a rock rolled in front of the entrance. Inside the cave with him are three daimyos from that time, who we had seen one of in the last set of episodes, I believe. The purple-haired guy we had seen in some little flashbacks and stuff. There, he was the one who the wolf, or was it a fox? The guardian of the bridge and everything, the one who was, like, guarding all the weapons and all. Yeah, he was. We saw him with him. Last flashback. I wish I remembered names easily for these characters, but yeah. Um, and so I'm very interested to, like, maybe even learn more about these characters, but I don't think we're going to necessarily. I think we're, like, already kind of learning what we would with them. They're not like Odin and whatnot, where they're going to be extremely important, but either way, we see that Kaido puts some swords in the cave and one plate of food for one person. And he's expecting, it doesn't directly say it, but he's expecting them to fight over it. He's expecting them to cause trouble. And instead, they just give it to Yamato. They're just like, here, eat. We don't need it. We're not hungry. We're samurai. Have this. You're a baby. You can't help whose family you were born into. You're a poor baby. You need to eat. And then they read Odin's diary together. They train Yamato, and it's like, it's super cute. On top of Yamato just being fucking adorable as a baby like that, they also train him and help him and care for him. Like, even when he's sleeping, like the main guy would put his cloak over him to keep him warm. And it's like, this is cute. And in the end, they choose to escape. They choose to escape and take Kaido's attention so that Yamato himself can escape. And though it doesn't directly say it and directly tell or show us, it's pretty obvious that after that they were caught and executed. We know they're dead in the current day. I think it's pretty clear, and they knew it was going to happen. They knew they would be caught and executed for doing that, but they did it so that Yamato could escape and Yamato could be the future for Wano. They understood that, and they were basically putting all of their faith into him. And yeah, that's one of the reasons why he's fighting so hard today. Because he knows that people depend on him. Not even just the people from his past, the friends he's made growing up, and despite everything his father has done. He's doing this for all the people who are depending on him in Wano. All the people who will die if nothing is done. Not to mention the Akazaya Nine, the Straw Hats, everyone who he wants to fight alongside with. It's just, we're seeing Yamato's drive and where it really got started. Like, even more than just seeing Odin's execution and being moved and inspired by his words and everything, this is where Yamato's true motivation started. And I think that's really cool to see here. And we see Momo throughout these episodes start off very timid and scared and everything, as he's been. But as I said, it's like he needed to find that courage, not the absence of fear, but the ability to do what's right despite it. And in the end, Luffy did manage to get through to him. He bit Kaido, and it did hurt Kaido. And it allowed Luffy to attack. And Momo realizes with Luffy's help that it's like, oh yeah, I can do this. I will do this. I need to be part of this fight too. Like, we see that Tama is already part of this fight. Momo is going to be part of this fight. It's like, yeah, we are allowing these kids to join in the fight in the ways that they can, because this is their country too. They have every right to stand up for it as well. Tama doing so in a way that she can, in a way that, while puts her in danger, isn't directly fighting herself. She is just using her abilities to help the forces of their side increase. Momo can fight because he is an adult-sized dragon now. He has his full form and has a lot more durability, a lot more strength. And even though he doesn't think he can, I bet you anything he can breathe fire. He is a lot stronger now. In his human form, maybe not as much, but he's not in human form right now. He is in dragon form. That's a big thing. That's a big factor here. He has to acknowledge that, he has to realize that, and he has to work with it. So, yeah, Momo is able to join the fight a lot more directly because of this. And I think that's going to help, having a dragon there to face off against Kaido, on top of the already insanely useful skills and power of Yamato and Luffy. So this is going to be a pretty insane final fight. We also got a little bit of the others, like realizing Luffy was okay and that Momo was the dragon and all. But the only other thing it really focused on it to any degree was a little tiny bit of the continued fight against Perospero. And just, I guess Jack and Dogstorm as well, just to showcase that, yeah, with the dragon, with the second dragon there now as well, the moon is going to be completely covered. Sulong form is out. It's done. So both Dogstorm and Cat Viper revert, and that causes obviously some problems in their fights. Jack is going to now have an advantage against Dogstorm, and Perispero is going to be a lot more dangerous against Cat Viper and the rest of the minks there. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, so it's turning a little bit back towards Kaido's favor in that regard, but we know that they're going to end up overturning the odds once again to take back control. Overall, this set of episodes was pretty damn good. A lot of phenomenal animation in them, just between Yamato and Kaido and even Luffy there. Some great animation with Momo. There were some parts that were definitely CG. Like, I very much realized that. And I bet you anything. I'm probably going to end up looking this up later. But I bet you anything, people bitched about it. Because people, if their CG, doesn't matter how good it is, and it was fucking amazing in this, it doesn't matter how good it is, people are going to bitch about it because people will not let that go. Just like the sub versus dub debate, which is also outdated as hell. People will not let that go. They just won't. They will not let go that stupid, outdated idea. And they're just going to continue to bitch about CG, even though modern CG in anime is fucking good for the most part. Like, Chainsaw Man, like, fuck, that was amazing. And it looked amazing here. It was great. It fit. It blended well. It didn't feel unnatural. It was clearly CG, but it still felt natural to what was going on, to the visuals at hand. It's like, people need to just shut up about that shit. They really do. The CG looked great. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, there was just some phenomenal animation in general. Obviously, the voice acting's always been good. Still very good with all the characters. Yeah, I'm just really impressed. Just on all levels. And I'm glad to be caught up. This means that we are going to just be going back to one episode a week now, which kind of sucks because it's been fun doing like the multi-episode videos again. I think I mentioned this when I first went to the when I first caught up the first time, and I was not doing multi-episodes anymore. It's like, it's kind of fun to do multi-episode videos. It's kind of fun to just knock a bunch of these out of the park. But at the same time, it's better overall to watch them once a week. Like, it gives a better experience. Now, give me a second here. Okay, one thing to note, because this needs to be addressed. So, even though we're caught up, there is going to be one more multi-episode video, because there just kind of has to be, because next week is our Valentine's Week movie special. Every day of the main weekdays next week, Monday through Friday, will be a different movie reaction. And because of that, there will be literally nothing else recorded or uploaded. Except maybe, I guess, an update video, possibly. But no other reactions or anything will be that week. Not even a stream next week. It is going to be solely movies. 5 movies in 5 days. That is it. Now, if I somehow had the opportunity to record One Piece on Sunday the 12th, technically before movie week begins, then I could do that. And I'd be willing to do that. But I would have to be able to. Basically, I would have to be awake on Sunday, right in time for my father to leave, and just get to it right away. Because my father goes to church. I usually go to church on Sunday mornings too, but I haven't been able to lately, just due to a ride situation. I'll leave it at that. Um, but yeah, so if I'm able to get it out on Sunday the 12th, I will this coming Sunday, but I can't guarantee that. If I can't, then we will have another multi-episode video the following week, in which case it'll just be, 1051 and 1052 together. But I will try to get to it because otherwise we will have one more. But other stuff will still be not happening that week. And for those who might wonder, if you didn't hear me mention before, the Harley Quinn Valentine's special that is going to be coming out, that will also be waiting until the next week. I will be getting to that, but that will wait until the next week. That one will wait for sure. Like, that's guaranteed, pretty much. But yeah, One Piece I might be able to get to on Sunday. I can't promise you that, especially since Sunday is Super Bowl Sunday. So my dad might be coming home earlier than normal from church, but we'll see. We'll see. I'll try my best. We'll see. But either way, yeah. So thank you all so much for tuning in. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.